Most home garden setups fail before the first harvest even starts. People build massive raised beds, buy expensive containers, and plant too much too fast without understanding how roots, moisture, and sunlight actually behave. Then the plants become weak, the soil turns compacted, and yields collapse halfway through the season. The biggest mistake I made early on was watering based on appearance instead of checking what was happening deeper in the root zone. Containers looked moist on top while roots underneath were drying out badly. That's when I started using the Humus-Rich 4-in-1 soil moisture meter in my raised beds and containers. It quickly exposed how uneven moisture levels really were, especially during hot afternoons. I'll leave the exact one I use in the description if you want to check it out. The pH readings also helped me fix a spinach bed that kept producing pale leaves no matter how much compost I added. Now here's the setup I genuinely wish I had started with years earlier. Simple deep containers. Not decorative shallow pots. Not giant complicated beds. Just deep, stable containers with the right soil structure and spacing. Some of my best peppers and tomatoes ever came from 5-gallon buckets drilled with proper drainage holes. The reason is simple. Deep containers regulate moisture and root temperature far better than shallow systems. Roots stay stable, and stable roots produce healthier plants. And here's the part most gardeners completely overlook. The soil mix matters more than the container itself. I stopped buying dense garden soil mixes for containers because they compact too quickly. What worked much better was roughly 40% compost, 40% cocoa coir or peat, and 20% aeration material like perlite or coarse bark. That mix held enough moisture while still allowing oxygen to reach the roots. Most weak container plants are actually suffering from lack of oxygen underground, not lack of fertilizer. Now let's talk about placement, because this next mistake silently ruins small home gardens. People put everything in the brightest area without considering reflected heat. One summer, I placed pepper containers beside a concrete wall thinking more heat would help production. Instead, root temperatures climbed too high, flowers dropped, and fruit production slowed badly. Since then, I've learned morning sunlight with partial afternoon protection usually performs far better for containers than intense reflected heat all day long. And this next setup change made watering dramatically easier. I grouped plants by moisture needs. Tomatoes, cucumbers, and leafy greens should not all compete in the same watering schedule. Lettuce prefers consistent moisture while rosemary hates constantly wet soil. Once I separated thirsty crops from drought-tolerant herbs, everything became easier to manage. This is also where monitoring soil conditions became important. Containers exposed to wind dry much faster than sheltered ones, even when they sit only a few feet apart. Now here's the easiest upgrade that immediately boosted production in my small garden. Vertical supports from the beginning. Most gardeners wait until tomatoes and cucumbers become unmanageable before adding support systems. That's backwards. I installed trellises immediately after planting so roots aren't disturbed later. Cucumbers especially became healthier once I stopped letting vines crawl across wet soil. Airflow improved, fungal issues dropped, and harvesting became much easier. And if you're growing in very small spaces, this next setup works surprisingly well. A simple gutter garden. I mounted old rain gutters along a fence for lettuce, spinach, and green onions. But here's what most videos never mention. Gutters heat up extremely fast in direct afternoon sunlight. Mine only receive morning sun, and the soil mix stays very light to prevent overheating. The setup produced steady salad harvests without taking up valuable ground space. Now let me tell you the gardening advice I completely stopped following. Bigger gardens produce better results. Not necessarily. Some of the healthiest food I've grown came from compact systems I could monitor closely. Large gardens become overwhelming fast if soil quality, watering, and airflow aren't managed properly. A smaller organized setup with healthy biology will outperform a neglected oversized garden almost every time. And this next trick saved me more time than any fertilizer ever did. Mulching containers. Most people think mulch only belongs in large raised beds, but containers lose moisture rapidly because heat surrounds them from every side. A thin layer of straw or shredded leaves stabilized soil temperatures and reduced watering significantly in my pepper and tomato containers. Now here's something most beginner gardeners never realize until plants start failing. Overfeeding causes problems too. I tested aggressive fertilizer schedules in both soil gardens and hydroponic systems. Fast growth looked impressive initially, but plants became weaker, softer, and more disease-prone. Stable moisture, healthy roots, and balanced nutrients consistently outperformed heavy feeding. And before I finish, there's one final thing that made my home garden setup dramatically more productive. Pruning early instead of late. Removing crowded lower leaves before airflow problems begin prevents many fungal issues entirely. Once I started thinning tomatoes and peppers earlier, disease pressure dropped and fruit quality improved noticeably. The truth is, the easiest home garden setup is usually the one that focuses on stability instead of complexity. Stable moisture. Stable root temperatures. Stable airflow. Stable soil biology. That's what actually produces healthy plants and reliable harvests. If you found this useful, subscribe to Farmagic and share this with another gardener trying to simplify their setup. The more you understand how roots, water, and soil interact, the easier gardening becomes, even in small spaces.